Hey guys, it's Elise. Welcome back to my channel, and today's video is about giving an update about how I did in the stock market in 2023 as opposed to how I did in 2022, because 2022 was really bad. In 2022 was all in the negatives, despite me donating the most money I'd ever given to my 401k in my professional career. And this video specifically, when I'm talking about the stock market, is how I'm doing particularly in my 401k investment accounts. So the first video I did in 2023, talking about 2022, like I made no money, even though I gave the most money I had. And in that video, I talked about how I'm gonna keep going because I honestly have no choice. Technically, I could have taken my money out, but what they teach you about investing is that when you're losing money, you don't take the money out because you're going to solidify those losses. The best thing you can do is keep going to see if you can recoup them over time. Investing in the stock market is about the long game. So that's what I did. And 2023 was indeed different, which I'm happy to say. And I think it's important to talk about all parts of investing, especially if you're doing the long game. And I want to talk about the ups as well as the downs. 2022 was down, but 2023 was actually up. So I think it's important to emphasize that and talk about the cycles. Really was hoping 2023 was going to be my $100,000 year, and it wasn't. I'm close though. Like literally, it should be happening any day now or any month now. So that is exciting. But to my chagrin, it did evade me in 2023. But 2024 is a new year. So the updates are specifically that 2022 was a bear market, which means it was down at least 20%, I believe. But in 2023, it was up 20%, which made it a bullish market. And that's what you want if you intend to be a millionaire at the end of this investing journey in 20, 30, 40 plus years. And then I ended this year, 2023, with $97,860, as opposed to 2022, I ended with $75,259. And then for context reasons, I'm going to tell you what 2021 was, because in 2021, I had $76,761. So I had more in 2021 than I did in 2022. And then 2023, I decided to see if I can get my losses back and do better. And indeed I did, with almost $100,000. So when you look at the percentage wise, in 2022, when I made that video, the title was I lost $20,000 in the stock market, because I did, even with me investing. So I lost more, but as far as like the appreciation. But in 2023, I gained 15%, and that meant that I gained $15,000. So what a year a difference makes, right? Like, because in 1 year, I had less than I started with, which means I lost a higher percentage. But in the next year, I gained 15%. The stock market averages 8%, 8 to 10% return on investment. So I did a little bit better. As you can see, some years you're going to be negative percentage, and some years you're going to be right on the 8 to 10%, and some years you're going to be higher if you're lucky. It's all an average over the time span that you're investing, which should be, again, 20 to 40 years. Some lessons that I've learned since doing that is, number one, you have to play the long game when you're investing. It's really important to not get lost in the minutia of, oh my gosh, I lost money, especially if you start young. So I started this in my 20s, and theoretically, God willing, even though I'm in my 30s, I have 2 more decades to invest this. So playing the long game is what's important. And when you lose money, it's important not to panic and try to do something slick with your money. I've learned that the test that I did with sticking with it, like all the financial gurus teach you, it really does pay off. Because technically, if I started today in my 30s, I still have time. I still have 20 something years. It's different if I started in my 50s or like 55, mid 50s. That's different. There's not that much time to appreciate. But because I knew that I had time in 2022, theoretically, I was like, I'm just going to ride the wave to see if it's really true that if you stick in the game, stay yourself in the game, you'll actually do better in the long run than if you just take yourself out. The next thing I would say is I'm going to keep going to keep getting more of these gains. I don't expect that every time I invest, every year that I invest, I'm going to make 15% profit. I also don't expect that I'm going to make 50% negative profit. But I'm hoping year in, year out, I reach overall that 8 to 10% appreciation in my nest egg. If I can do that, I really can't ask for anything more, especially since seeing that at the 9-year mark, because I'm still not at 10 years, I started at 20, it'll be 10 years this year. I started with not investing a lot of money, and now my present self is super happy that my past self did something with the little that she had. Because it wasn't like I was balling out of control when I first started. It got better. My contributions from my paycheck got better as I gained more money and I got rid of more debt. But it wasn't a lot of money, and it's something that most people could do if they really wanted to, because I wasn't breaking the bank. I just put in a little bit because I was in my 20s and I knew I could put in a little bit, and this little bit of money was going to work because the time was going to work for me. As far as my game plan for the future, because y'all know me now, I always have a plan A, B, and C. I would say is that I'm going to keep consistently contributing to my 401k through my paychecks. I can't contribute as much as I used to, but it does make me happy because I'm not making as much money, but it does make me happy to see that I'm continuing it, as well as I get a better match with this new company. My company pretty much matches me dollar for dollar. It's like 80 cents to $1 that they give me. So I don't even have to work as hard because it's still a significant amount. And it comes out roughly to what a car payment used to be, because car payments aren't even that low anymore. But I am going to keep doing that. And because my job offers that, I'm going to use that tool because it knocks out the thinking for me. It's automatically taken out of my paycheck. I don't have to figure out who I'm going to invest in and how much longer I'm going to invest in them. It's already done, versus like a brokerage account, which I plan to do by February this month. I have to be diligent on, a little bit more diligent on it than versus the one that's already set up in my job. And then the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to convince my coworkers to do it, because it's just a shame how we work really hard and we put a lot of labor into the economy, and so many times you see that people don't have anything to show for it later. And it literally is a difference of like $10 or $20 a paycheck. That's all you really need to do, especially if you're young, and a lot of my coworkers are younger than me. So I think I'm gonna make that like my personal project and kind of nudge at them a little bit without getting in their business personally, but just saying like, hey, have you invested in your 401k? And if they give me like no, I'm not gonna do it, I'm like, if you just do $10 a month, this is where you can be. Because that's pretty much what I did, and this is where I'm at now, without going into much details, because I did that at my last job and I got feedback from my coworkers last job, like, I don't know what you did with my 401k, like once you looked over it, but maybe I'm making more money than I had in the past, because 401ks are just sitting ducks a lot of times in the job. There's very little communication, or bare minimum communication to let you know that it's there, but as far as like using it to the best of its ability to make the money work for you, those things are not usually available at jobs. You have to do it yourself, and most people are not going to do it themselves. So that's my game plan. I would like to share the news of like what it can do for you. So yeah, this year was so much better, and I can't wait to see what 2024 brings. I'm literally on the brink of that $100,000 mark. They say it takes like 11 years. It's gonna take me, it's looking like 10, and I'm super excited. So thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me talk about my updated 401k investment account. And I will see y'all next week and bring y'all some different updates. Talk to you later. Bye.